What's going on, people? Whenever you try to pull yourself away from a story that is getting worse and worse, you got to pull back. But every time I pull back, it just pulls me back in. Like, no, where are you going, Jay? We just getting started. Oh, man. I was doing some research for this live stream I'm putting together tonight. And what do I come across? I come across an article speaking about how Jada Pinkett Smith never wanted to marry Will Smith. I mean, the jokes can now write itself, but it has become very apparent that I was right. I think I'm one of my most recent commentaries about how Jada Pinkett Smith married Will Smith because of his potential and because there were really no other suitors. Like, let's be real. He was a rising movie star. He was already doing TV, just about to take off, and she married him. But that's not who she is. That's not who Jada is. Jada, she likes a certain type of guy, a guy who fits a certain criteria, not, a guy like Will, the nice guy, the good guy. There was a female, one of the members of Salt and Pepper, that he was dating that didn't really want him like that because he didn't check a certain box. But let's get into this article, man, from the NY Post. Jada Pinkett Smith never wanted to marry Will, cried at horrible wedding. More and more just keeps coming out, making this marriage seem even worse and worse, doesn't it? Jada Pinkett confessed that she really didn't want to get married to Will Smith. In fact, the Matrix actress, now on the roasting bit of Smith's infamous Oscar smackdown of Chris Rock, an Academy's decision Friday to ban him from the ceremony for 10 years, admitted to crying down the freaking aisle before tying the knot with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air star on New Year's Eve 1997. That wasn't that far removed from when Pac lost his life. I was under so much pressure, being a young actress, being young, and I was just like pregnant, and I just didn't know what to do, declared Pinkett Smith, who's 50, in a freshly exhumed snippet from her Red Table Talk Facebook series. I never wanted to be married. So what this looks like to me is that she got married to Will Smith because she was pregnant, and I think he was like, you know what, you're not going to be a single mother. I'm going to take care of you. And she reluctantly said yes, because once again, Will Smith, say whatever you want about him, he was he was becoming more and more well-known in Hollywood. He was a rising star. He's probably there already. And he was willing to take care of her. He was willing to marry her. She didn't want to get married. I think she would have been perfectly happy being a single mother. That's what I believe. Or just not getting married to Will and being with somebody else. But Will was like, no, I'll marry you. And I believe wholeheartedly she reluctantly did it. I do believe that. In the clip from 2018, which has resurfaced amid renewed controversy around her entanglement with R&B singer August Alsina, Pinkett Smith candidly recalls her mother, Adrienne, also known as Gammy, forcing her and Smith to wed after she became pregnant with their first son together, Jaden, now 23. So the mother wanted her and Will to get married. Will could have put the kibosh on that, but again, Will didn't want to go through no baby mama drama. Even in the 90s, he didn't want to go through that. So, but I do think Will was on board with it. I don't think he was that against it because he decided to marry her, because that's how much he wanted to be with her. I really didn't want to get married, Pinkett Smith restated, while seated around the circular table with her mom, as well as Smith, who's 53, and their daughter Willow. That's crazy, right? Because that lets you know that maybe she has some resentment towards her mother, and she feels like her mother is the one that pressured her into it when she really did not want to be married. And she feels like her mother pressured her into it. But again, you know, if you're not happy with something, you're an adult. It's not like she was financially dependent on her mother in any way. We all got married because Gammy was crying, a chuckling Smith informed Willow. It was almost as if Gammy was like, you have to get married, so let's talk about the wedding, said Pinkett Smith, prompting Banfield Norris to confess, I remember feeling very strongly and wanting you guys to be married. You know what? She also could be lying on her mother, making it seem like her mother was pressuring her. I don't think her mother really had the negotiating power to pressure her into anything. I really don't. But again, it's everybody else's fault. It's Will's fault for not doing this, and now it's the mother's fault. The mother pressured me into it. Like, it's no accountability. You chose to get married. You didn't have to. The Girls Trip star's mother was just 18 when she became pregnant with Pinkett Smith and briefly married her father, Robsel Pinkett Jr. I do remember wanting you and Will to get married, but I don't remember your rejection of the idea of marriage, Banfield Norris added. I remember the rejection of the idea of a wedding, but not a marriage. So once again, is she trying to place blame in other places? Because she's saying you wanted to marry Will. Yes, I strongly agreed, but I didn't force you to do anything. Nobody is going to force Jada to do anything. Jada chose to marry Will because Will was her best suitor at the time and she was pregnant. Pinkett Smith then recalled being browbeaten into big day submission. And now, Gammy done gone to Will crying about I don't want a wedding, and now I'm being forced to have a wedding, she said. I just wanted it to be the two of us on a mountain because I was like, this is serious business. Jada and Will married at a Gothic style Cloisters Castle in a suburb of hometown Baltimore, Maryland. And despite their picturesque venue, Pinkett Smith and her mom both acknowledged that it was less than stellar. The wedding was horrible, Banfield Norris conceded. It was a mess. Jada was sick. She was very unpleasant. She didn't cooperate with anything. Laughing, Pinkett Smith agreed, saying, and I was so upset that I had to have a wedding. I was so pissed I went crying down the freaking aisle. I cried the whole way down the aisle. Conversely, Smith, who in March earned his first Oscar for a masterful portrayal of Venus and Serena Williams' father, Richard Williams, in the feature film King Richard, was positively giddy on their wedding day. Of course, because that's how much he wanted Jada. Now, she's saying she was forced into it, that her mother kind of helped browbeat her, but Will was the one that wanted to marry her. Will, because I think Will at the time cared a lot about his image, even then. And he wanted to make sure that his image would not be tainted by having an out of wedlock birth. That's just me. I think that, Will he cared a lot about his image. He really wanted to be with Jada. So getting married, he's good with that. And because, his career's taking off, and being a family man actually helps in Hollywood. When you're a family man, you're gonna get a lot of opportunities that others aren't because they aren't family men. That's just how it is in Hollywood. There wasn't a day in my life that I wanted anything other than being married and having a family, he said during the episode. From literally 5 years old, I was picturing what my family would be. So yes, this had a lot to do with Will. Will wanted this. And Jada even then started to show that she didn't want that, but she stayed the course. Pinkett Smith's visceral aversion to their nuptials. Notwithstanding, she and Smith ultimately agreed that getting hitched was, in fact, the right call. And Banfield Norris apologized for failing to respect her daughter's protests about a wedding and for being selfish by insisting on a lavish ceremony. She probably was the mother from hell. I want this and I want that. That had a lot more to do about her ego than I think it did about Jada. Now, she's mellowed over the years, but she probably was the one wanting things to be, extravagant. That had a lot more to do with her because she never had that. So, of course, she wants that for her daughter. On to the fact that Pinkett Smith is her only child. The reemerged Red Table Talk tape comes on the heels of more footage being put out there, as this is. Now, this is an old clip, but it fits the conversation, so I'm talking about it. From the couple's rocky recent past. Per as 2009 Instagram live clip, a seemingly annoyed Smith reprimanded his wife for broadcasting him on social media without his prior consent. "Just don't start filming me without asking me," said Smith in response to Pinkett Smith showing his face on camera while asking, "Would you say therapist Esther Perel has been instrumental in you and I redefining our relationship?" And when the actress dismissed her husband's upset at foolishness, Smith retorted, "My social media presence is my bread and butter, so you can't just use me for social media. Don't just start rolling. I'm standing in my house. Don't start rolling." So far, neither Will nor Jada have publicly commented on the resurfaced. Listen, I bet you Jada never thought that her Red Table Talks would come back to haunt them, would come back to bite them. It's funny how you have these. There's probably going to be more clips. There are going to be more clips that are going to come out of Jada basically telling the world why she's unhappy. And Will Smith being more and more annoyed. I have no doubt that more videos are probably going to come out showing that Jada is just not very happy, not the happiest right now. And we will see. And guess what? I'm going to talk about it. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Well, let me know your thoughts. Like this video and share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I'll see y'all in the next one.